This is the pretty sloping area. Those flowers are Supertunia Vista Silverberries. There's 3 in each pot. They need trim back. Coming up the way, take a look at these. These are Bobos. 3rd full summer. Little quick fires. Let me get close. Oh, they're stunning. Look at that. And look at these Bobos. I mean, these are huge, look. Isn't that stunning? Oh, and they still have more blooms. More Bobos. Let's take a look this way. Perfection. Then here we have a basement dwelling window. So this is a Carl Forester grass. It starts blooming early spring or maybe late spring with pink blooms, and then they turn a wheat color and stay this way the rest of the year. They're gorgeous. These are also about 3 years old. My garden's 3 full seasons. Look at this. Vanilla Strawberry Standard with Autumn Joy Sedum at the base. And we'll get up close. Look at these. Ugh. They're stunning. Look, I got a little pink started. So the pink starts at the base and then works its way up. I've got a little bit of browning up at the top, so I started watering these a little more. They are on drip for 20 minutes a day, but I have a feeling these are the hoggers of the water. Look at them, they're mammoth. There's 4 plants there. Over here, I have little Hotties. Look at them. They have a green tip, like a chartreuse green. I can't even say that word. Now these I've replanted. I had little Bobos here, and honestly, they didn't do well. So I found these little Hotties at Lowe's, and I thought, you know what? Or excuse me, these weren't at Lowe's. I had my son-in-law's at Lowe's. These I found at a local nursery and thought I'd give them a try. And they haven't disappointed, and they never brown, and they're in full sun. In front of the little Hotties in this flower bed, I have, this year I decided to try something new, and I planted 9 Salsa mango, oh goodness, I don't know if they're OsoEasy Salsa mango. I think they are. I'll have to double check that. Rose bushes, and they're the miniature. They only get like 1.5 high times 1.5 wide. And they have shoots off of them this year, and I've decided to let the shoots go their first year just to see, you know, what they do, but I think I'll keep them more of a shape next year. But look at these. Look at the pretty color. They're very healthy. They love their space. And then over here, I have a Japanese maple. And a different local nursery was trying these petunias. They have a black center. They're called Crazy Tunias. I like them. They stay nice and full. They're no comparison to Supertunias, that's for sure, but they are still beautiful. And they have kept this shape all summer. This one's trying to turn green, this tree, and it does usually. This year we've had an excessive amount of rain and cool weather, so it has kept its darker reddish color, but you can see now that the weather is finally warming up and it's actually almost August, which is unheard of around here in Ohio. See, it's trying to turn green. Usually it's green by July. It's just that type of maple, Japanese maple, but very healthy. Another Bobo, or excuse me, I want to call them Bobos because they're very similar, but that is a little Hottie. In fact, I'll be honest with you, it gives Bobo a rival. Bobos are, in my area and my garden, very sensitive, and the leaves turn yellow and in the center and droop a little bit more sometimes, but these Bobo, or these, see, I did it again. These little Hotties never disappoint, never. And they'll get 3 to 5 feet high and wide. And here's, these are my self-watering pots. I made them myself, similar to the aqua pot system. So I studied the aqua pot and decided to make them myself. Last year I had this same Supertunia Silverberry at the bottom, and did not put a spike in last year, and it mounted up really pretty, and I had to water it once a week through the pipe. This year I tried the grass, and I find that I have to water it twice a week. That grass is a water guzzler. You might ask yourself, why aren't there any plumes? And that's because there were so many plumes that I couldn't even get to my door. And we had a huge storm, and it took them to the ground, and it bent them, and they were gorgeous until the storm got a hold of them. So I decided I'm just going to cut the plumes off, and I know I probably got a lot of haters on here that are going to say, oh my gosh, I can't believe you did that. But it was just out of control. It was a monster, and it was the wrong place. So if I ever do this grass again, it's going to be in an area where it can grow to its full glory, and I don't have to worry about cutting the plumes off. But isn't that just beautiful? And I'm videotaping again because I realized I had my iPhone turned the wrong way, so that this first couple of reels are going to be very challenging to see, but oh well. Look at here. Same thing. These are little Hotties. My Hotties are in the second year in my garden, and they're in stone. I know a lot of people say, oh, don't put them in rock, they won't do well, but I'm here to tell you, if you water them every day, these are on drip. This is a little more shaded area. It probably gets 2 hours of sun less than the others, and dappled, as you can see. So I give this 15 minutes a day of water, and it's doing well. And they will let you know. In the beginning, the leaves will get droopy, and if you see a droopy leaf, then you know it's saying water me. So you just add a little bit more water, but otherwise they're stunners. And this is a lollipop shaped crab apple tree, and it only gets maybe 5 hours of sun a day, and then it gets dappled sun, if that. It goes into full shade. I don't think that it gets enough light, because I never get berries. Now, in the springtime, I get beautiful flowers, but then that's it. It just stays green the rest of the time, no berries. Well, I'm not too upset about it, as it's still a beautiful tree. And then below it, I have some shrubs, and I have some heuchera. I haven't decided if I'm going to keep those shrubs in there. They were cute when they were smaller, but they're getting too big. And they're not deciduous, so, you know, they don't stay green even in the winter. They're limby just like the rest of the stuff, so I'm really not sure if that's a good combination there. I'm going to rethink that area. Over here, I have more self-watering pots. And you can see that I also had to take these plumes off because it was getting extremely difficult to get in and out of the garage without wisping the plumes all over the place with our cars. Yes, I probably should have known that, but you know me, I had to give it a try. But I don't know about you, I still like the look of these leaves even without the plumes. I mean, it's still a stunning combination. And I can still get it out. See, like right here, it's still wide enough for a car, believe it or not. And I try to keep the Supertunias no bigger than this. They get a little haircut every once in a while to keep them at a manageable width. So here's the front view. And then we'll make it out here. This is my lamppost area. These are Calypso rose bushes, and they are stunning. I know I say that word all the time, but it is so true. I mean, just prolific bloomers. Oh, gorgeous. I trimmed back my clematis after it bloomed the first cycle, and look, it's growing up again. And I would say probably in another 2 to 3 weeks, it'll be full of blooms again. And if I haven't said it yet, I'm in zone 6B, Ohio. Those are iris in the background. Beautiful bearded dragon purple iris that come up. These are drift roses, peach drift roses. Stunners. Look at this. Ah, stunning. I don't know if I mentioned it earlier, but we had a huge storm rip through, and my Rose of Sharon, it was to the ground. It just broke my heart. Roots and all came up. So we replanted it. This was like a couple days ago. We replanted, put a stake in. Hopefully it will survive. If it doesn't, I guess it doesn't, but I don't know if I'll plant another one here or if I'll try something different. Isn't that pretty? I'll get a little closer. Look at those. Ugh. It's very easy to grow. Once again, this is 3 years old. 3 full summers. Calypso rose again. I plant in drifts. And these are Calypso roses right here, but They're just getting ready to rebloom. Usually I have blooms, you know, throughout. I don't know if it's the way I've pruned them, but they can kind of go in and out of bloom. So this one you can see the red shoots getting ready to form new leaf stalks and blooms. Around the mailbox I have Sally Rosa Pink Salvia. And this is the second flush. So after the first big one, and that's not bad for a second flush, look at that. And I'm just getting ready. After this week, I have a party coming in that I want to make sure that these still have blooms on them, but probably next weekend I'll cut them back again and wishful thinking for a third flush. Let's get a closer look. And here's a view from a distance. So I'm coming back up the garage driveway, and I just wanted to get a close-up of these. Look at this. Oh, look. Now, as I said, they're on self-watering pots. This year I have to water down the tube twice a week due to that grass. And Silverberry, Proven Winners, Vista, Silverberry, they are just prolific bloomers. They bloom one top of the other, so I never have to deadhead. I do fertilize once a week, and I also do preventive spray with neem oil once a week. It may seem to some of you like once a week is preventive is drastic, but my plants say otherwise. And then we're looking at the side of my garage. These are Bobos, and they typically are covered all the way around, but I've struggled this year, and some of them are staying smaller, like this one, and then they'll brown out, and then I just snip them off because something's going on with my plant. Haven't quite figured it out yet, but the other blooms are just gorgeous, but these have smaller blooms than normal. Look, I showed you the Bobos in the beginning over on the other side of the house. So I would say maybe it has something to do with this side of the house because it gets more sun, but that's just not true because I have this one. Look at this one. Same age, same area, same treatment, and stunning. Oof. Look at that. I would say this one's probably three. I would say it's almost 3 by 3. 2.5 by 2.5, 3 by 3, close. And these blooms, of course, are much bigger. See? Yes, that one's in the sun first. And this one's getting in the sun, but this one stays in the sun. You know, the sun comes this direction, so they get the same amount of sun. These were planted here before we moved in, so I'm not real sure the type of a berry type. I can't even think of the name of it, but they're the shrubs with the thorns in them. I want to say what it is, but I'm sure I'll be wrong, but I'm sure you guys can guess. Service berry, maybe? I don't know. But the color contrast is really stunning, and I love them. Now this is a Bobo. Remember I said I took some Bobos out and replanted them with little Hotties? Well, this was one of them. The other two were just too far gone and didn't make it. But this one is coming back. It's the first year after being replanted, so I'm going to give it some time and see what happens. But we have a good start. And I'm sure that over time, all of these will burst into bloom as well. This one just started blooming later than the others. I was worried it wasn't going to bloom at all, but as you can see, it's starting to. So I'm going to give it a chance and see what happens. Now we're going around the corner, and this is the back of my garage. These are little hotties. And sooner or later, I'm going to have to downsize the daylilies because the little hotties are taking over. Now, on this side of the garage, I think this side is more like 2 years old. Except for my lilies. My lilies are 3 years old. So this is the second summer on this side for these. And this side blooms a little later. So it's just now coming into their white blooms. They've had buds for about a month. But you can see they're still babies, fresh green. But they'll whiten up and they'll stay white. And then in fall, around late September, October, possibly a little bit earlier, I'm not sure. I don't remember last year's, but they will turn a soft pink. Like an antique pink. They very much do remind me of our Bobos, but just hardier. And the leaves are much darker and thicker and bigger. So, you know, I keep saying they remind me of the Bobo, but they really are completely different. I think it's just more due to prolific blooming and size that I keep saying that. And of course, different growers. I need to come in and deadhead all of these out of the daylilies, but just haven't had a chance. But my daylilies will rebloom all summer long. So these are knockout roses, and they get just at the 6-hour mark of sunlight, but they do beautifully here. I planted them this summer. I tried to have more sun-loving hostas here, but it was a no-go. As long as it was May and June, they would be beautiful, and then by July, it was like, ugh, the dead leaves, the browning, no matter how much I watered them. So I thought, okay, I'm just taking them up and I'm going to try my other favorite, other than hydrangeas. I'm going to try roses, and I have had luck. Look at all the new bloom leaf structure here. That's the reddish color. That's all new, fresh growth. Look at this. It starts out a real beautiful peachy color. I'll see if I can get an in between, but then it goes to a pink, and then of course I should probably come along and deadhead, but you don't have to deadhead these. I do because that's just me. Here's a pretty pink, but look at all the new leaves. These will probably get 3 to 4 feet high and wide, so they have plenty of time to grow, but they are loving their spot. And they're on drip as well, 20 minutes a day. I can show you the drip here. So I have in the back, I have a 1/2-inch drip pipe, and then a little 1/4-inch leader that comes out here, and then eventually I have a ring that has emitter holes every 6 inches, and these are on drip 20 minutes a day. This is another clematis that I cut back, and this is the second bloom. Probably shouldn't have turned my camera like that because you went kind of crooked, didn't you? I have Silverberry here again. I will not do Silverberry Vista along this line here. These are in little pots. You can see the pots. I have to put rocks there because the storms knock them over all the time. But these are monsters. I need something that's smaller and rounder and maybe even more of a deeper color to contrast with all of my greens going on here. So I'm going to try something different next year. I'm thinking persimmons, but I hear persimmons is pretty prolific as well. Or maybe, I don't know, some type of a petunia. I love my petunias. If you have a suggestion, let me know. And look, this area, the top of the hill here with the shrubs. These shrubs were here when we moved in, and so I would say those shrubs are at least 4 years old, if not older, and we do keep them trimmed. Last year we had Limelight Prime hydrangeas planted, so these are only one full season. So last year, about, well, I guess you could call it season 2 because it was mid-June when we had them planted. So this is second year. And they were little round mounds when we bought them, I think 3 gallon, and look at them. They love their space. And we'll come around here. I have not had a chance to get in here and prune any of this and cut back, but I need to. But I just wanted to show you the structure of this pathway. Look at this. It's so pretty. Those are OsoEasy Italian ice roses. These right here those are the impatiens on this side of the house, and this side of the house gets like 2 more hours of sun than those. But I guess I can't complain because they're still all very pretty, but I wish they would all get this full. I don't know if I'm gonna try this again next year, but the more I look at it, the prettier it gets. But I love this. Maybe it's the color. I don't know. But you can see the drip line going up. See the white drip line? And it gets watered the same as everything else. So coming back down here, I'll go around. I have some May Midnight Salvia in here that I have to cut back because it's time. It's past its prime. My lilies are still blooming on some of them. I have to deadhead those. This is Atlantis sedum. Never disappoints. I can just break off a piece, put it in dirt, and it still survives. That's what I did with all of these. Look at them. I had the mulch would come over into the stone here from big rains, so I thought, well, I'm going to try to plant it with this and help keep that mulch back, and it's starting to do its job. It'll take a while, but yeah, very healthy. And those are just starts that I pulled up. Some of them had roots, some of them didn't. I put them in the dirt and they took off. Look at my OsoEasy roses. Oh. And the May Midnight, which is out of control. This is the second bloom, believe it or not. I've got to cut them back. I should have done it 2 weeks ago and didn't. Don't know if I'll get a third bloom or not. And actually, this is the salvia that I wanted. I told him May Midnight, but it's clearly a different structure than this one. And I like this one better. It's out of bloom right now, but look at how well it keeps everything upright. So it was mislabeled. Don't know which kind of salvia it is. You can see it does have the purple. So I think what I'm going to do is dig this one up, break it up by 4s, and put it here, here, and here for a better, structure. And then because look, even if I don't deadhead, it's still a nice upright salvia that's not taking over the world like these. Look at this. Oh, this is the OsoEasy Italian ice, and I'm getting new blooms. These get 6 hours. And they just keep blooming all summer. I need to deadhead. Even though they say you don't have to, I do. Okay, so this is another direction of the hill that we did last summer. So all of this is just last June. And let me take you up here at the balcony. I must say those impatiens are looking better than they have. But I went like a whole month with barely any blooms, and it just bothered the heck out of me. Because they were just green. But they're finally doing their thing. And then I have 4 of these pots. They're pretty, but I'm just not crazy about them. I would love to move these pots out here at the posts, but I'm not sure if I'm going to get enough light because see, the shade's still way out there. But wouldn't it be pretty if I planted those with limelight standard trees with surefire begonias underneath? Tell me what you think. This area here probably gets 4 hours of sun, no more, at the posts. What do you think? Do you think that would work? And that'd be gorgeous. And here's the back view of the house. So here's the pond area. I must say I do neglect this area. I tried to plant things that didn't require as much water. I'm not so sure how much water it actually gets from that pond. I water once a week. These are Autumn Joy sedum. It's a different sedum in the center. I am not well versed on these plants. These plants are 3 to 4 years old as well. Look at this. It's not the lemon sedum, I don't think, but it comes back every year. This was a tiny little plant, so I just let it go. Isn't that a stunning area? It's so peaceful out here. So that's our walkthrough. End of July 2023.